be in this society that we live in, you know. But
well, yoga is a state of calm and being. Well, I do have a yoga because every day I like to get into about a 2-hour thing of calm. I don't do. I'm just kind
of a meditative state.
Yeah, and I do it after I do my exercise. I get into where I a certain, where thoughts and ideas and my mind roams free, but it only lasts for maybe two hours. I'd like to be able to extend it a lot longer, but there's one, but I know exactly what I have a procedure I can go to get in that point. I drink my coffee, but first I do my, do exercise about an hour, and that gets rid of the tension, and then I'm able to sit. Like that's why I used to do the stuff that I did down the beach. Everything was to get myself into the end of the day of a better realm of thought process where I could,
and that was your goal.
Oh, that was my goal. That was the whole thing that people didn't understand why I was doing what they, because they see me going back and forth. They didn't realize after I got through doing that stuff, I was in a state of being. I was in a state of color looked different, everything looked different. I was feeling experience, like I'd just taken a very small amount of acid, but I was connected. I was disconnected, but I was connected to my surroundings and get more of the beauty, Well, and it took that effort, though. All
right. Getting back to Vietnam on that realm, were you ever into? Did the severe conditions ever force you into that sort of state, or were you able to go to that sort of state in Vietnam, like in the bush, in the fucking jungle?
Yeah, now that I did.
I mean, as a way to cope with the misery? Is that a good word to describe being out in the jungle for a week? After you're out in the jungle for a week and you're, I guess, on a patrol, right?
Yeah. I did hate the misery.
I mean, was it miserable or what?
Oh, God, was it. At first, it was, and I'm not one for loving misery,
Right. I mean, you ain't a masochist.
No, I'm not there was a lot of misery. A lot of misery.
So, I mean, that's something that hadn't been talked about either. Like, where does your mind go? If you're in the middle of the jungle at night, the mosquitoes are biting you and it's raining a little bit, you're comfortable. How do you get any sleep?
Well, you get very little sleep. It's amazing how much little sleep. That's why you get so tired. That's what it actually depriving yourself of sleep actually makes everything more miserable, because then you're tired. Then you're like focusing on how hot it is, how awful it is, how much weight you got on you.
You can't get away from it.
Yeah, you can't get away from it. And actually, a friend of mine, Eubanks, had called. He's probably that called when I was at my worst point of life, and I said, I was walking, and I said, God, the only thing I got left in life is, I'm glad you brought this up. It said, no matter how miserable it was in Vietnam, one of the most wonderful things happened to me over there, the start of everything, because when I first got over there, and there were a lot of people just got killed, and I was a replacement for the worst casualties that they had in the Vietnam War. That our company got, virtually wiped. A lot of people killed. I don't know how many, but we lost more. And we had a lot of people that were killed. So our replacement, and so for those people, and those people just went through all that horrible battle. They had, got there a little bit before I have. So I was a newcomer coming there, and they said, and they were looking at me, and they looked up, and they said, they looked real firmly, and they said, we all pray. And then
pray.
You don't get into foxhole till you pray. They didn't say that I couldn't get into foxhole, but it said we all pray. We all. And I said, I'm an atheist. I don't believe in anything. I said, oh God, I got to say that I pray. But I knew that if I told them exactly that I was non-believer in prayer or anything, they said we, and they kept looking at me and they said, we all pray. And I said, okay, So I said, I realized I didn't have no choice.
So did you pray with them?
It was like I didn't really,
I mean, were they openly having a prayer session?
Yeah.
Whenever?
We're a band of brothers, but we're a band of prayer brothers. We're a band of brothers that are deeply into to caring and trying. We're willing to risk our lives for each other if it means we're willing, in other words, to jump on the grenade.
But that's the way you felt about those guys.
Yeah.
Felt
they
as far as you were concerned, they felt that way about you.
Yeah, they said, we're going to sacrifice ourselves for we already have. And if you want to be a part of this group, the only way that you can sacrifice your life is to believe that there is a higher power. We pray to a higher power to protect us, to unite us. We're this, our foxhole is a prayer foxhole. And I don't know if I would have got into another place that had the same attitude, but it was like...
Well, was that part of your squad?
Yeah, that was part of the...
Fire team?
That was part of the little, 5 or 6 people that I was, in my unit that I was, first connected with. They were like every day that we were all in the same area,
right.
Same,
That was your squad?
Yeah, that was my squad. And their attitude, and the guy that said that, Eubanks, was the guy, he was like a medic, go out and help, people, and he said, we all...
Did he carry a weapon?
Huh?
Did Eubanks carry a weapon?
Yeah, everybody. And so...
But he was officially a medic?
Yeah, he was, oh, wait a minute, he wasn't officially a medic. I mean, he helped me when I got wounded. The other guy, Doc, he was the medic.
Did Doc carry
He was a medic as far as the mind, as far as he had all the compassion to help people, and, he was just a wonderful person that really cared about each person within the group. He still is that kind of person. Matter of fact, I can get him right on the phone right now, and he'd tell you over there within the group that all the people that he knew, the one person that was treated with disrespect and terribly, because I was from the South and I was kind of bumbly, I didn't know how to do things like everybody else. Our Sergeant Buckley treated me horribly. He was a black sergeant. He was good at his job, but he hated me for the fact that I was from the South, and he made me do all the extreme things that were dangerous and carry most of I was just treated like I would have to carry 15, 20 more pounds than anybody else. I'd have to carry claymore mines. I'd have to carry machine gun ammo. I'd have to be point man. I would have to be, every time we hit firepower, I would have to be the first one to go. Even if somebody just got killed and was laying down, I'd be the first person to go across the creek bed after God.
Okay, now that's a good point.
And that,
Were you good at being point?
I was good too. Well, not really good at it. I tried to get the point to them across. If I do, y'all do put me in point. If y'all do put me in first to go along across the creek bed that somebody had just got killed, I got the point across that I believe that the bullets will fly in different directions. I don't mind dying. I don't want to die, but the bullets, you go ahead and put me in front of the bullet, and the bullets are going to go the other way just to piss you off. I mean, I ain't got nothing to lose with this, even though I'm 19, 20 years old, because I'm a
That's the way you felt about it.
Yeah, I said the bullets will go the matter of fact.
You felt like the bullets didn't have your name on it?
No, I felt like the bullets would somehow mysteriously just not hit me going another direction.
Did that shock you?
And I actually... No, I think the universe got me into that mindset because I got to the point where I just didn't care. I mean, I normally thought that a bullet would go straight and hit you in the head, but just to piss them off, it was like the universe, did some other higher power trick me into, like, did we all pray in this group? And because a lot of times I'd be so tired to have all this weight, and everybody else would be ducked down. We'd get in a big firefight, and the bullets would be going, tracers and bullets going. And they said, Kenny, duck down. I said, too tired. If I get down, I can't. I said, bullets going to go in another direction. I don't care anyway. I want to die. So I'm miserable.
And you're saying that the bullets ain't going to hit you anyway.
And I didn't care if they did, because I was so tired, so exhausted, so tired of no sleep and just grime and dirt and I just didn't care. It was like living in hell for a while. It was like hell because they were treating me like hell. For one thing, it had been a little better if I'd had my sergeant, but I was a clutch. So see, I was worthless because I didn't know how to put out the claymore mines. I didn't know how to do anything correct.
But you could carry them.
I could carry them. So, I was disposable. So who do you want to get rid of? The first person you want to get rid of is the guy who's the worst guy in their eyes. Not in like you.
I wouldn't want to be getting rid of the guy that's carrying the ammo. Well, when you think about it.
They should have been thinking about that too, because they would, why they should have gave but then they could get the ammo. If I got killed, they could go ahead and take the ammo off and distribute it. Well, but they needed a work off, like a mule. They needed some, but that gave
you don't kill your mule.
Right. Yeah. Well, they tried to kill the mule. They tried to kill. They sent me in a tunnel, Frank.
They did.
With this guy went in a tunnel. And they said, Ken, you go in, because I'd lost a lot of weight, you go in the tunnel, and they gave me a 45, and they gave me a 45 that didn't work, one round in my hand, and a 45. See, I had to think the way that I did. What good is one round of broken 45 going to do me against somebody that has a gun that works?
Well, yeah.
That's what they sent my ass into. That's how they actually, this was a black sergeant. He hated me because I was white. There was prejudice, not from me. Now, the only guy that saved me was my best friend over there, was Parker, and he was black. We were like brothers. We were like, if he was in danger, I'd go. Actually, this happened a couple of times where he was in extreme danger, and he was, you know, if I didn't go, he would have got killed. One time I was in extreme danger. We would both put our life on the line for, you know, and he would talk to the sergeant. See, I was in a group for a while. See, this is after the other guys, they left. The original guys in the foxhole, because they had to go back because they got their before. And then I was left with the original group, and it was like me and the rest of everybody else, except for
you weren't buddies with those guys.
The other guys were all black, except for a couple of white guys. And see, our sergeant Buckley, he just he I was from Georgia. He'd always say, "Hey, blacks are better about this. Blacks are better." He would just always, you know, you're the sorriest trooper, and you're from the, you know, the South. He would always just belittle me any way that he could. So I was disposable. He was good at his job as being a sergeant, but he wasn't good at being fair-minded. He wasn't good at treating me with some kind of respect. Even if I was a fumbly, bumbly clutch, I was still a good soldier. I still would go out and do what I was called to do, even if I couldn't put the Claymore mine up at night. I mean, even if I couldn't do the trip flare. Even if I tripped the trip flare, even if the gun did go off and go through somebody's head. I mean, but I didn't trip no trip mine. I mean, at least I didn't trip a mine. I didn't have any of my guys killed. The closest I came was only when that gun went off, and that could have happened to anybody. I just didn't realize the thing was on, and we're trying to clean it. But it went, you know, it went when it went off. But Eubanks. When I never thought that I would see him again, and he was one of the most loving, giving people to all people. You know, he was just you would love him. He was just a kind guy, but he had been in.
Had you see him again?
That's the guy that sent me all those, you know, because one night I was walking around in desperation, and because I just like, it was the worst I'd ever been in mentally in a long time, and I just said, well, I don't believe in God, I don't believe in myself, I don't believe in anything.
This is in the States, back in the States?
Yeah, this was only a few years ago, and I said, the only thing I got left in life that I believe in is I believe in when those guys looked up at me and said, we have faith. We all pray in this foxhole. To become a part of this foxhole, you have to have some kind of faith. You have to become some kind of, you know, belief. And I said, you know, what they felt was real. That moment was real. I still see it, me standing there, them asking me that, me in my mind trying to say, I don't even believe. But I did believe. There was something inside of me that did believe in their belief. And then I eventually started telling people to believe in God over there. And that actually turned into me going to California, you know, getting into religion, being an evangelist and everything else, speaking at churches. All that set the agenda for me eventually doing all the other stuff that I did with the, you know, with the church. It was that one moment, and I was a non-believer. But inside, greater is within us than is within the world, was some sort of belief system that I didn't even know that I had, because I was brought up as an atheist. My father was an atheist.
Now,
at 12 years old, I didn't believe in God.
That's interesting. Although not surprising, but you had no, up to that time in Vietnam, how many times did you go to church? Never?
I went a couple of times at the you know, the Episcopal church with my mother. But then the other times I went, my father, I used to go to atheist churches.
Really?
So I was basically, and I even stole from the atheist church one time. I was a little crook back then, you know, hanging out with Albert. They had some, it wasn't that much. I just took it, then I felt bad about it. I think I eventually put it back. Well, I said, well, it's not a church, so it's all right to steal from it. I'm stealing from the rich and giving to the poor or something. I said, this is not really a church. This is an atheist. They don't believe him, you know. I said, well, I don't really believe, but it's still not a church, so I didn't feel guilty.
So, but basically, you didn't You never much went to church.
No,
When
just
you
a
were
couple
a kid.
times. And every time I'd go to church, I'd look at the stained glass. All I could think is jumping out the window. Just wonder what would happen if God would protect me on my way down,
Really?
or would I die?
You thought about that?
Yeah. Well, at 4 years old, I did. At 4 years old, I questioned God's existence. I said, "Hey, I can call up. I can talk to somebody on the phone." And I said, how come I can?" And I used to get the phone. I call, and of course there wouldn't be no answer. And I'd make a phone call, and I said, with like 911, or I just called you. I said, if there's a real God, wouldn't He ever answer me on the phone? Other people answer me. Human beings answer me. How come I'm making a call out to God and I never get an answer? So I formed immediately at 4 years old. I dismissed God as a reality. But
Well, did your father ever? Well, was he like a staunch atheist where he talked to you about that subject?
well, he took me to the meetings, but he was staunch. Actually, he tried to get laws passed where they would quit having prayer in the school. He ran on the platform when he was running for senator in Wisconsin against. He was for women being able to wear topless bathing suits, and for kids to be able to be taught evolution and to take God out of the school system. But before he died, he put God back in his own system. He started becoming a believer. The person who, and I used to talk to him about some sort of belief in God after, but at the end, he was talking to me about God, and I was telling him how I no longer, because of the woman I was going to go down to, the thing, he started liking people that were Christians. They were nice, and he started.
He made a turnaround.
Yeah, after being the opposite for like 60 years, 70 years, he made the turnaround. He didn't come a real strong, but he had a love and a like for people that were Christians, and he was actually preaching, his religion to me, which I couldn't believe. I said, my father, who actually brought me up as an atheist, is now a believer. And so,
well, did you get like a chuckle out of that, or was that just a mysterious thing? Or?
I couldn't believe that he had given up the cause of his unbelief. That he had all of a sudden, with the intellect that he is now a believer in some kind of religious, fight. It actually.
Well, did you ever get so scared in Vietnam or afraid for your life that you prayed to God?
Yeah, that's why I'm glad they got me in the foxhole, because many a night when I had to be by myself out on the listening post and there wasn't nobody but me, there on a dark night, me thinking that there's somebody coming up and going to cut my throat at any moment, and me falling asleep like all the time that I did. Yeah, I did pray for, protection, and that's what I was asking Eubanks for protection again. Is like I was going back to my Vietnam days, where it did teach me to have faith in something. I believed they would protect me, but they said there's another power that protects us. You can't just believe in us all the way. There's some other force that we all feel very comfortable with. Like I said, we pray to God, we pray to Jesus. And so. And that became a natural part of mine. Even so, I doubted it. But after about 2 months, I was telling this one guy, I was saying, he was an atheist. I was trying to convert. They didn't converted me so much in a way. I said, what if there is a God? What if there is a, you just give it a try. I said, I don't know whether I believe or disbelieve. And he said, I believe I'm going to go get killed. I believe that I'm going to die tomorrow. I said, no, you can't think. You got to think that that you're not going to get killed. I'm going to get killed. I'm going to get shot in the head.
That's what he kept saying?
And this was really a nice guy, loving guy.
Was he a new guy?
Picture. Oh, no, he'd been there for, but he was very intellectual. He was a wonderful, you could tell he was a brilliant guy. But for some reason,
he figured his number was up.
He just had this feeling that I said no, and I kept trying to talk him out of it. The next day,
talk him out of what?
Talking
the
about
fact that he was.
I figured, because he'd attract a bullet,
Yeah.
And I said, you think like that, you're gonna get killed. You got to quit thinking, you're gonna put yourself in a position to get killed. Sure
what
enough,
happened?
he got shot in between the eyes.
Really? Were you there?
Huh?
Were you there?
I wasn't right there when he got hit, but I saw,
I mean, you were somewhere around there.
Yeah, I knew, And I liked the guy. I really like, but he believed so strongly that he was good, that his number was up. I almost think it set him up for getting, but it's amazing. He got shot in the guy during the head, right between, the bullet between the eyes. And that other guy that this one guy, he got shot. You could hardly tell the blood. The blood, he got shot right between his eyes. The guy that we were carrying, the guy that when after he got killed, Sergeant Buckley said, "Hey, Ken, now this is a big. It's about a 20-yard riverbed with nothing but stone. Told me to go across there. Everybody, the first person that got to go across after some guy's laying dead in there to get the retrieve the damn
Was
body.
there shooting going on at the time?
Yeah, shooting going on. Them with machine guns.
They knew he was dead?
Yeah, they not only did I go across the goddamn rock by myself with bullets hitting all around my damn ass, you know.
Really?
I mean, I'm going there trying to say, so I got pissed off. I looked at him and because I saw what he was doing, you know. I said, you know, I'm going to go across this. They ain't going to kill me. That's when I started saying the bullet's going to. I said, I know y'all want me dead, but I ain't going to get. See, that was his friend. His best friend was just killed. Well, that would be nice revenge to get my ass killed.
The sergeant's best
Yeah,
friend?
I'm supposed to go across there. We could have did it differently. But I'm supposed to go across and take the firepower of the things that just killed that guy on the riverbed. I mean, he should be court-martialed for that. There was no, we could have fired at the thing there, but to send one damn guy against the enemy that's behind there with all kind of firepower, and I have no rock to hide. These are small rocks. This is a riverbed, and bullets are flying all over.
Nothing touched you?
Nothing to help me. Nothing to protect me.
I mean, but nothing touched
He
you?
wanted me to. No, he wanted, but they were hitting all around.
Yeah. And you got the guy?
Then somehow the other got where we could, you know, get the guy and drag his body back, and I carried.
Did you have to do anything?
And blood was dripping out the body bag, and I was looking.
Well, hell, were you doing
And I felt bad because I was saying I'm so tired. I don't feel like carrying this body anymore because
How far did you have to carry the body?
Oh, we had to carry it to another LZ, like miles and miles.
Really?
And the only thing I could think of after that is, oh God, I don't want to carry this body anymore. And I felt bad about that.
Did you have a stretcher?
Yeah, we had it in the poncho, you know.
Didn't have a real stretcher.
No, we got some tree limbs or something like that.
Made a stretcher.
Made a, you know, and didn't put the
Well,
body.
that's pretty heavy.
It was, because it was like real thick bush, and it was hard to get through the bush with the body. And you know, I felt bad because I didn't like the idea the guy got killed, but all I could think about is, oh, I felt so tired, I was so wild, the body felt so, and you know, we carried on and on. I was just after miles of trying to carry that body. I just wanted to get rid. I just didn't want to carry that body. I didn't care about him being dead or anything. I had to be honest. I just did not want to. And I felt bad about that because here's a comrade being killed, and I felt, you know, still. But I was so damn tired. I just didn't want to carry that body. And you know.
Well, at that point, how long how long had you been in Vietnam?
At that point, probably about 5 months.
5 months?
So I'd been there,
Yeah.
you know, a pretty good while. Then.
Really?
And
is that before you lived in the village? Or after?
when I went AWOL?
Yeah.
That was, let's see. That's hard to, you know. I think I did went AWOL before that. When I did get, you know, when they had let me be free for a while, and I got the chance to go out, you know. Yeah, because I caught malaria. What happened is when I caught malaria, they put me in the hospital, and then it was after I was in there about a month because I had kind of like the worst kind of malaria that you could have. I had 118. I could have died from that. I think you know, that wasn't part of my plan. It was to catch the low grade, but I caught the super grade malaria. They had to pack my ass in ice, and
Really?
but I was still happy because I wasn't out in the boondocks. And I was like, when you're young, you don't even conceive dying when you're just having some kind of disease or something. You realize that they can deal with malaria. I didn't know there was this kind of malaria you could actually die from because I knew that we had all the proper procedure. If your temperature gets to, but I had 108 temperature, and that can cause your brain, you know, can have problems. It could have messed my brain up where it couldn't think because after I got out of service, I was pretty messed up mentally as it was, not be able to function like everybody else. But I think that 108 didn't do my brain cells any good, you know. I mean, it was kind of weird. They had this cellophanes, this kind of stuff or whatever it is, and I was all packed
in ice. That's cold.
And I didn't feel that damn cold for some reason. You know,
Really?
It was kind of odd. There was a cold feeling to it, but it wasn't. So finally, after I really enjoyed the hospital though, because after I started getting bad, then they'd bring us ice cream, and then I had the most fun. It was like paradise being in that hospital because I wasn't having people treating you nice. But after I got out, that's when I decided, you know, I didn't decide right away. I started meeting the people, and
So you hadn't met that girl that you lived in the village with at that point?
No, that's when I met her. When I
How'd
was
you meet her?
when after I decided to go AWOL for a little while, and I redid my paper just for a week. I said I can do that, but I wasn't planning on going AWOL for a real long period of time at first. But then I got to meet the people, and I liked the people. And
Well,
I said,
how'd you meet her? I mean, this was at downtown Saigon or anything
no,
like
this was
that?
in the first. I met her in Vong Tau. It was
Vong Tau?
Yeah, Vong Tau. It was in
Which
like
is a little village?
Yeah, it's like where they send the Americans on, on
On
R
R&R.
too. But I happened to have been in the hospital. They sent me back there again. That's when I went AWOL again. So the first time I just happened to have been in the hospital, and I was right by Vong. So what I did is me and this other guy, we went off and started just having a good time because I still had a little leeway. But then I realized that I was supposed to be back, and we took a pen and paper and played like and overdid our tried to race off when they said, and so we gave ourselves only a couple more weeks. But then I took a lot longer than that. And what happened is a couple of weeks turned into about a month. I don't know how long, because then I started just getting high. Then I met this girl. She was, I don't know where exactly I met her, but somehow we became friends, and she had this wonderful little room, and she had like this mosquito net tent in her bedroom, and she'd go out at night and sell herself, and then she'd come back. And I wasn't, we were just having friends. Of course, I wanted to have a relationship with her. But then when she would come back and actually give me money, she introduced me to all the people in the community, and they told me how we could flood the dikes in the Northland. And I became like one with the Vietnamese people. It only took about a week.
Flood the dikes in the Northland?
Yeah, they had telling me all the ways that the American government could have go ahead and end this war and beat the North Vietnam.
They knew how, they were South Vietnamese.
And they knew that we weren't doing that, because we could have hit those big dikes and it would have flooded a lot of the North. And they had all kind of practical, but we were playing politics with the during war. Yeah. And the Vietnamese people knew how. And I mean, I got a chance to meet the smart Vietnamese, the businessmen, the top people, the important, not important people, but the ones that could speak English and tell. And I became buddies with them. So actually, I just became part of the group and decided that I wasn't going to come back to the United States because I didn't like, I liked the Vietnamese people more than I did our government that was sending me to the, I felt a camaraderie. I felt a camaraderie with the brothers that I was fighting with, but I said, I wanted to meet people and find out how they ticked, who I was fighting for, so I just became so engrossed with them. I came in love with them somehow, and I wanted to stay with them. So she was like, helping me, they were hiding me, people in the town were hiding me from the MPs and stuff like that. So actually I had everybody that were keeping me safe from any kind of, from our government. I guess they were keeping me safe from the other side too, from the, Vietnam,
Well, were there any Viet Cong that
Yeah, I mean, I was in the, but Vong Tau, at least it was mainly Americans.
But you knew of Viet Cong?
There was all, they were all mixed in with all the, the other.
You knew that?
Yeah, and that was a little scary because at night you'd be, by yourself just with those Vietnamese, hoping those Vietnamese people were honest that they wouldn't go tell the Viet Cong to come in there and kill you, But when you're young, you're fool. You don't look at things the same way. I would never do that kind of stuff now. But what happens? I met that girl, and she was real, friendly. She brought in money. She fed me. She gave me everything. But that's when the Viet Cong guy that she was going with.
She was going with a Viet Cong.
And he thought that me and her were sleeping together. Well, we were sleeping in the same bed, but we weren't doing anything. We were just friends. Now, how in the hell do you get across? Because she said, I know. She said, there's this guy, she told me, and he wanted to kill me. I said, well, who wants to kill me? She said, well...
She told you that?
Yeah,
she could speak English?
She said, yeah, the guy that I was going with, because he thinks that we're having, that we're having
sex.
We're having sex.
Yeah.
And I think he was, and that's who she was going with. I had no idea that this woman who was protecting me, who was bringing me food and going out and doing, I didn't know she was going with anybody. And frankly, I didn't know she was going with the guy that was a Viet Cong. So she told me about that, and it really didn't upset me too much. I was glad to know about it, and I said, well, can you talk to him? Can we do anything to make this right? Here I'm telling her to make something right about a Viet Cong who wants to kill Americans, and that we could somehow come and reason together that I'm not a bad guy, that I'm not trying to take advantage of her. We've just become friends. I mean, so she tries to relate to him the best way that she can. And eventually we were all just in this one area, you know, together. I guess some other Vietnamese, and they were smoking opium, they were stuff. And that's when I got to communicate to him somehow, some way, shape, or form that I really wasn't a bad guy. Maybe some of the others told him too. However, it got the point across where that I really wasn't trying to take his woman away. I had no harm. I loved the Vietnamese people. I didn't have anything against you know, any of the people.
And he appreciated it.
He appreciated it.
that.
Somehow that.
And y'all were able to get along.
Yeah, I don't know. You know, that's a miracle.
That's a heavy
that
story.
was a miracle. He could have killed me, but just for being American.
Okay, so then you decide to go back and do your duty, right?
No, not
Eventually. No,
Yeah.
I mean eventually.
Yeah.
You know, you saw the handwriting on the wall, right? And
Yeah, I thought about my mother. I realized that after I got snapped out of, you know, being high every day on, you know, on pot and all kind of other stuff, I realized that, hey, wait a minute. If I keep doing what I'm doing now, I'm never gonna be able to see my mother again. Because I was thinking in my mind, I just wanted to get away. I just wanted to meet the people. Treat me so nice with respect. The guys out in the field were trying to kill me, not my buddies, but that one saw, you know, I was a disposal. They want to get, you know, they're not going to sacrifice the best when you're in war. They thought of me as being the dud, that they, you know, and I really wasn't a dud. I was, you know, I did what they called me to do. But to me, I was a sacrificial soldier. You know?
yeah, well, that says a lot.
I mean, you get rid of the lowest, you know. I was at the low end of nothingness, you know.
Okay, so then you decide to go back to your unit or to the hospital. Where'd you go? Where'd you report?
Well, actually,
back
what
in?
happened? A friend of mine got caught by the no, they caught me, and he didn't. They caught me, and then they caught him, this other guy that I, you know, knew, and they had us. But somehow we showed the paper. We got, you know, we were able to escape again somehow. Even though the MPs had us for a while, and we were able to, you know, escape again. And then we decided to, you know, to go back after, you know, the period. I probably it's good that I got caught, because I probably may never. But I got away, like your story, like they gave you the, you know, the